So Friday night, we're here. We're fucking around. I get the stitches out. You know, we've had this liquid acid for God knows how long. Me and Lee are like, let's just do little droplets. Now, I've been practicing with the CBD oil because the thing's expensive, so you can't just fucking take it like a savage. So it says 7 drops, and you start counting the drops, you know. So if he tells me to take 7, I'm 300 pounds, I take 10.
For the CBD, not for the
liquid
CBD
acid.
oil.
No. So remember we bumped into the guy at the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And one thing leads to another. And me and Lee are discussing this shit, and I take the 1 dropper out. And again, I tap this thing down to the least minimal, and I give 1 to myself. And then I give 1 to Lee. Now, the one I gave to Lee was so small, but Lee moved, and it hit his lip. So that counted as like a hat. Not even. I did, I know what I looked at. In fact, if you ask Lee, I did it a couple times to see what a full drop was. And then I did it again, and I just played with it a little bit.
You didn't tell me that's what you were doing, but
yeah.
I
tried to get the least amount in there for us just to try it out. Lee's never done it before. I haven't done it in years. We did the blotter that one time, but I don't believe in excess the first time. And we saw the gentleman, and he told us not to fuck around. So this time I go, Lee, ready for another one? Lee does a little one again. Again, I dabble with it. Boop, I get a little one in there. I don't know if we did one right away or we waited a little while. I broke your balls. And then we did one. Okay, boom. We do the 3 little dabbles. Somewhere along the line, I felt a little nausea, and I felt like my body shivering and stuff. But at one point in the podcast, I blew smoke out. I blew smoke out of a bong, and I saw how Lee looked at the smoke for a minute, and I'm like, oh, fuck. We're going to have a problem here. So I thought the acid was going to kick in for me really good. The podcast ended. The guest left. Lee and I stayed here for another 35, 40 minutes talking. And I tell you what, the acid rattled my cage a little bit, but it wasn't like the 80s where I had to go home and drink orange juice and hide and put earphones on, and you have the sudden urge to take a shower and scrub your toes and all this shit.
Because to clarify, we did the first one before, and we didn't do the second one until after.
Okay, so I knew...
Because...
we did 3 of them, right?
I only did 2.
Okay, I thought we did 3 half drops, like real small drops.
Maybe you did for me, but I thought I only did 2.
Okay, so that was it. Lee and I have a conversation. I walk home. On the walk home, I feel weird. You know, when you take acid, and once it's mixed with your heart and you start moving, now it's a different story. You might kick up the speed from you moving. The adrenaline kicks up the acid. Okay. And all of a sudden you're tripping. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh boy, I better start breathing out of my nose. Thank God they took the stitches out. And I'm breathing out of my nose, breathing out of my nose. And finally, guess what, guys? Nothing happened. I go upstairs. I do my usual. I wash my hands. I take a piss. I wash my hands. I say hello to Demi. He's in the living room. I put the TV on. I get some water. I get the pipe, I get the lighter, I go outside, and when I finish fucking smoking the pipe right there, I'm like, I'm fucking starving. And I go on the thing, but there's more to the story. I'm sitting here afterward at the 40-minute mark, and I just have to go home. I'm tired. I got to babysit Mercy at 9, and all of a sudden Lee goes, boy, are you hot? First off, I see him get up by himself, and he turns off the red and blue lights in the studio. So I'm watching all this, and I'm like, this kid's fucked up. But I'm not fucked up. So I took the same amount as Lee. I think Lee took a little less than me because 1 drop fell on his thing, and I go, Lee, put it back on your tongue. So whatever. I'm not accusing you of anything, Lee. I'm just saying that at that point I felt guilty because I'm like, when is this going to kick in? All right, Lee has done 2 things so far that showed me that he could be seeing something. When he looked at the smoke and when he asked me if it was hot in here. That's never a good sign when somebody asks you if it's hot in here. So I open the door, and then he says to me, boy, it's so hot in here, I got to take my shoes off. Not only does he take his fucking shoes off, but he takes his socks off like it's the 60s in here. And he's like, boy, I feel better. Once your feet are hot, that means you're tripping. But again, I'm sitting here, guys, and to my fucking God is my witness, I'm not fucking feeling nothing. I'm feeling the reefer. Did we eat any stars? No. We had no fucking stars. That's why we took the acid.
We smoked a lot of bong hits.
We smoked a lot of fucking bong hits. Speaking of which, it's time for another bong hit.
Oh, Jesus.
It's your birthday bong hit. So, I didn't think nothing of it. I go, he can't be this fucking high. Maybe he's playing with me. But then he says something else to me. He goes, dog, it's still fucking hot in here. And I go, well, then I don't know what to tell you. And he's moving the table. And I'm going, why are you moving the table? He goes, I'm thinking of laying down over here. Didn't you lay down on the couch for a minute?
Yeah.
He laid down on the couch. I'm like, oh, no. But again, I'm not tripping, so I'm tired. I go home. Again, I told you motherfuckers, I go home. I put the TV on. I drink some water. I call him back to check up on him. And now he tells me he's got his shirt off, which to me is hysterical, right? He's got his shirt off, he's got his shoes off, his socks off. He's in the office here, and God knows what he's thinking about. Were you tripping at that point?
Okay, so here's the thing. What do you mean tripping?
Were you seeing things? Were you hearing voices?
No, I've never... The most I've ever tripped was on one of those times with the blotter. And, like, my keyboard, like, keys started floating away. But I didn't trip like that this time. What you said at the beginning about people with fear, at that point, well, for me, was fear. Because it's, like, I'm not, like, what I kept thinking was, like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, I'm a kid who grew up in suburbia.
Didn't I tell you were thinking that?
You kept telling me that. I wasn't thinking it at the point, but then
you're
when you
sitting there
left,
thinking, fucking, I went to Emerson.
not even that.
I got good friends. I got a degree. Why am I fucking doing acid with this fat fucking loser?
Not even that, just acid. And then I was actually a little annoyed with you that you left. I was like,
right. I remember because nothing was happening for me. I'm like, and I can't risk taking another one and being up all night and then having Mercy at 8 o'clock in the fucking morning yelling in my face. I mean, I could take care of anybody, but I couldn't risk taking another one. I didn't want to give you another one.
No, but there was nothing for you to do here. Like, that was the thing. There was nothing you were going to do, and I realized all this later. And I don't know, with you, does acid get you energetic? Is it like an upper?
Oh, it fucking picks everything up.
Okay, because yeah, I always walk around like a crazy person. I'm picking things up, I'm putting it down. It's really, I start organizing. I've organized.
When he talked to me, when he spoke to me and he told me that he had his shirt off, I got a little scared for him. I stayed up a little while longer. Now, I called back. And by this time, he's telling me this fucking story about that he got an Uber and a Mexican gangbanger showed up with a fucking crucifix on the dashboard, listening to Spanish music. It was supposed to be a 2007. What did he show up with?
97.
A 1997.
Easily, and it was like he was creeping up the road, like going, like, probably had his foot on the brake. He had music going, and it was the kind of leather where it really wasn't connected to the seat, whatever it was anymore. It was just kind of loosely there. And I just got in, and I shouldn't have gotten in. But as soon as I was like, this is not cool, man. And then I had already put my address in because I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was like, okay, I'll just put my address in. I'll go home. But then he's like, and then he kept asking me things, but
in Spanish.
Pretty much, man. He didn't speak English. I mean, I felt racist at the moment, man. Like, especially with acid, it makes you feel really, like, shitty about, like, bad things in your life. So I felt racist, but I was like, man, you need to at least be able to speak English, like, a little bit, like, and like, I just didn't feel comfortable with him knowing where I lived. Like, it was just, I didn't feel it. Just, I'm not a very streetwise person. I don't think I didn't.
Well, that was the acid, and you're also making you ultra paranoid.
Right, a little bit paranoid, but
but I could just imagine when you got into the car, it was like a scene from a fucking movie.
Oh my god!
So this happens. He gets in the fucking car and goes back to the train station.
Yeah, I have him take 2 lefts and take me back to the train.
Then he gets attacked by a fucking hooker with a fur jacket on or something like that. What happened there?
Oh, so he let me off of the train, and there was this, like, wild pack of, like, the Warriors. It was like the black version of the Warriors, but they were just running around and they were trying to find a street, and, like, half of the group wanted to go one way, half the group wanted to go the other way. And then I was just walking up a dirt path, and I was gonna call another Uber, but I was like, first of all, I didn't want him to get the call, and I just didn't feel safe. So I was just walking in this, like, dirt path next to the train, and this, like, in my head was a hooker. It could not have been, but in my head she was wearing, like, a big fur coat, had, like, a big furry, like, something in front of her, like a big furry box or something. It was really weird.
Did she say something to you?
No, she like I was very nervous that she was gonna be like, want to party or whatever hookers say, and I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now.
And you just walked back to the office.
I just walked back to the office.
Now, when you got home, what happens now? What time is it? You did the acid here at 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Right.
What time was it when you got home?
Probably close to 1 o'clock, I think.
And what were you feeling at that point?
Still nervous, and real energetic. I was going around my house cleaning, but I would only clean like one thing. Like I would clean like one dish and then go clean something in the bedroom. I would bounce around my apartment. And
no voices, no music,
no
nothing. This was just speed catching you up.
Oh yeah. I listened to some podcasts, I think, for a little bit, and I tried to watch TV, but TV's always weird. The face is always... That's where I hallucinate. With TV, it's weird. The faces kind of get jumbled up. And, like, it always seems brighter. The contrast seems off.
And when you're seeing this, what are you thinking about all this?
It just... with TV, it reminds me that I'm fucked up. I'm like, oh shit, I'm fucked up. Because when I'm nervous, I just try to convince myself I'm not that fucked up. I'm like, you'll be okay. You're not that fucked up. You're okay. You're okay. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Now, what time did you leave the house?
Okay. Well, it got better around like 3. Between like 3 and 4. Because just to be completely honest, I tried to rub one out for like an hour and a half. Like it just wouldn't.
You had dead dick.
Nothing.
Completely.
Nothing.
Your heart's beating.
Yeah, because I was
your
trying to. Your
palms are sweating. It's a horror show.
I was trying to go to bed, and when I couldn't go to bed, I was like, "Fuck, I'll stay up and clean." And I started to get less nervous. Like I think it calmed me down. Like it just got my brain off of it for a while, and I started having like really cool thoughts. I don't know. It was just like I just started like, and I even said at one point, I was like, "This is why you do it," because it's. I always ask you, like, at the end of the podcast, when we're 17 bong hits in and 1,000 milligrams, I'm like, why are you still doing this? And, like, that's why in my head, I'm, like, mad at you throughout the night. I'm like, this motherfucker gave me acid and left me alone. And now I'm freaking out. And I'm not sleeping. And then I was like, oh, because you have these cool, like, when you actually stop freaking out, you can have some really interesting conversations with yourself. And that's why I'm not really, and I've said it before, music for me, I think, would have taken me out of it. I like silence, especially with that sort of stuff. So I was just walking around cleaning, and I would just think about certain things, and I, for anyone watching live, I decided to shave my beard at like 7 in the morning, and I shaved my head again, but at like 6 o'clock is when I decided to leave. I was trying to go to bed again, and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, I need to go get some things, so might as well just go. The store's 24 hours. And it was great. I had so much fun. Like it was at a point where I could totally handle it.
And you were up all night.
Not a wink of sleep.
And you felt great.
Felt really energized, and I felt.
So what it hit you with a low dose, because you did feel weird, and you did stay up, and you did have dead dick.
Right, yeah.
It was just a low dose and a hallucinogenic, or you would just, next time we do it, we just take one big drop and run with it and stay here for a while and see how it feels. I'm sorry I left you. I just thought... No, and I don't... Listen, I've been left... Part of me, when we spoke the next morning, and you said to me you had a good time, I was going somewhere, or I had mercy. But for the rest of the day, I thought about our conversation that, A, you weren't mad, and B, you looked at it from a perspective from somewhere else. You started telling me that next time you wish you had a notebook. I hadn't said nothing to you about it. And then you said to me, now I know why you do this. It's been weird. The last time I did it was with you and Ari. And then before that, God knows when I did it before. Oh, I did it with Ari for Pink Floyd. And that was garbage. It was okay, but it wasn't. It was 3 hours. Did I appreciate it? Yeah. We did it in the office one night. You and I, without Ari, because we
Right.
did it twice.
Yeah.
That night, too. I was high till 2:30, and by 3:30 I was in bed. I appreciated that. You know, first off, I'm a bigger guy. Number two, my tolerance is off the fucking chains. It's even off the chains for the Oxycontins they gave me at the hospital. I had to call Talking Land, go, Talking Land, this ain't doing nothing to me. Nothing. He goes, chew them, whatever, nothing. Then one night I woke up twice with my fucking wrist hurting. I had 75 milligrams of that shit in me. So there's a lot of shit that don't do nothing to me. And so don't take it bad. It just doesn't. It's been years. What the fuck are you giggling about? Nobody.
Why did you like him? What did
He did an error.
I knew a second ago, but now it's... keep going from where you told it, because then...
You know that little forehead you got?